have been cut open and pulled to the side. Okay? So what you should see, I'm going to actually go with this one because there's a plastic on it. You should notice lots of veins, lots of arteries here. Okay? What's the really large vein connected to the top of the heart that's draining everything from the neck and arms down into the heart? There's also one coming from underneath in the bottom. Yeah, superior vena cava. Okay, so right away, tip of the orange arrow number 1 is on superior vena cava. It's draining in. Okay, this is the heart, and we probably won't ask you anything about the heart there. Okay, so let's go all the way up to the neck, and we'll work our way back. Okay, so do you see how there's this little V going here and here, towards the face? Those are the anterior and posterior facial veins. So I like to go like this, and remember, anterior goes towards the front of the face, posterior vein is draining from the back of the face. So if you can see this on your cat, that's 2 points right there, anterior facial vein, posterior facial vein. Now if you keep going with that, see how this is the ear right here, those are going to also have extensions that go anterior and posterior auriculars. Anytime you see the word auricular, you need to think ear. So even if you can't see it on your cat, you can say those two and get 2 more points that way. So if I start, this is my starting point. I'm going to start all the way out by the ears, and I'm going to name veins and say anterior and posterior auricular. Those are going to drain into anterior and posterior facial. Now we're coming down, and there's this kind of line that goes horizontally like this. Anyone know what that one's called? Transverse jugular. Good. Transverse jugular vein. Okay? The jugular always refers to the veins. When you see carotid, that always means artery. It's always carotid artery. There's no jugular artery, okay? So don't get those two confused. So when it's going across the neck area, it's the transverse jugular vein, and then we're going to keep coming down on the sides here. And this would be part of the jugular vein, but wait, there are 2. There's an external jugular and an internal jugular vein. So there you go, there's 2 more points, okay? External is this one that's all the way along the side, and internal, this cat actually has what's called an anomaly. Its internal jugular, right here, is huge. It's not supposed to be that big. So this internal jugular right there, it's kind of weird how big it is, but most of yours will be smaller. So you can say that, external and internal jugulars. Okay, those are going to come down together and drain into, see this split right here? Brachiocephalic vein. Brachio meaning what? Anyone know?
Arm.
Arm. Cephalic means head. So if it's a brachiocephalic vein, it's draining blood from the brachial region, arm, and the cephalic neck, coming right there. So I'm just talking about that split. When it's one pipe right here, what did we say this was?
Superior vena cava.
Superior vena cava. Yeah. So you just sit all the way down from outside of the ears, and we'll do it one more time so we know. Outside of the ears, front and back, it's called anterior and posterior what? Auriculars. Those are going to drain into anterior and posterior facials. We're going to have this cross one that goes across called the transverse jugular, and we keep going down, and now we have, so there's 3 jugulars technically. Transverse, this one out here,
External.
and this giant one that's not supposed to be that big is internal jugular. And you have to say internal jugular so they don't think you're saying internal carotid. Okay. Coming down here, those are going to drain the arm region and the neck region right at these 2 points. Brachiocephalic. Brachio meaning arm, cephalic meaning head. And then when it drains right into one pipe, straight into the heart, it's superior vena cava. Yep, superior vena cava. So it would be like this on your test, 4 points, right? And it would say, tip of the orange arrow number 1 is on the superior vena cava. True. Tip of the orange arrow number 2 is on the external jugular vein. said 1, 2, and 3 were true, your answer choice would have been what? H. Easy, right? So you guys will all get that question right, and everybody else will be clueless. So that's good. All right. So let me talk a little bit about arteries here, what we can see in this view. I like this picture because the arteries are really bright red. And we're going to go from the heart out, because that's how arteries take the blood anyhow. So in my mind, that just makes sense. Okay, so you can see heart here, you can see some lungs going out that way. And honestly, we don't really get a good view of ascending aorta coming up at all because the superior cava is blocking it. But you do start to see this pulling over to the side down the front part of the thorax region. Anyone know what that could be? It's called internal thoracic artery, or you might see it as internal mammary. So if you see anything that's kind of going down the front by the ribs, it's probably internal thoracic. Typically we don't ask that, but if you're like, you just need one more point to say, I think you can say that. That's good. Okay, so from here, what is our mnemonic that we have for off left subclavian? We go, what is the mnemonic? Anyone know? It's different from here. It's B, CT, yep. And I'm going to show you, I have this 1980 something cat book from when my mom took this class, Dr. Stevens. So, pulling out the good stuff for you guys. It's colored. It even has things like unnamed artery.
Dr. Stevens?
My mom took Dr. Stevens. I was like, crazy. Okay, so I like this picture just because it's, again, we're doing patterns before we cross over and apply it to the cat itself. So we're going to start right down here and move our way up. Okay, so heart, we have ascending aorta right there, right? Okay, and then we go up into, it's kind of weird. You have to think of yourself as the cat laying down. So this is all the right side of the cat. So you literally turn your body and make sure, it's my left side, but it's the right side of the cat. And then left will be over here. So this will be brachiocephalic artery, right brachiocephalic. Which will then branch up into right common carotid. But on the left side, it's going to go straight up into the subclavian. And then into common carotid. So you're going to see these two common carotids this way. It's a little different down here for the cat. So from there, you go over, and it's subclavian. When you see subclavian, you need to be thinking underclavicle, right under there. Subclavian will turn into axillary, right about the armpit region, but the other way I remember it is when you see this branch going off under the scapula, transverse scapular or subscapular artery, the name changes. So this is all axillary here. Axillary refers to like armpit region, so if that helps you remember it too. Yeah, this one was transverse scapular way up top, transversing the scapula, and this one is the subway under the scapula. This is subscapular. Once you pass subscapular, this right here will be brachial. Brachial artery. Brachial artery is going to continue all the way down. Do you see this muscle there? Biceps, some triceps. Keep going. Number 12 is the deep brachial artery. And so deep, another word for deep is what? Anyone know? Profunda. So you could say profunda brachial there. then it turns into axillary, armpit region. Once we pass subscapular artery, name change, we go into brachial. And it's brachial all the way down to the elbow about, and then you're going to have deep brachial coming off of that for arteries. So this is all blood going away. Okay, so on this left side, you're going straight up to left common carotid, and then left subclavian. Off of left subclavian, we have the VCT. The way I remember this, the arteries, vertebral, costocervical, thyrocervical. It's reversed in the human. It goes VTC. So humans go to Virginia Tech. Cats is VCT, C for cat first. That's kind of how I remember it. Okay, so in this picture is not too hot, but I'll just zoom in so you can kind of see. Off of subclavian, you're going to have this first one here, vertebral. This next one will be what? Costocervical, thyrocervical. Now this one coming down that we looked at, just like this, coming across, is called internal mammary or internal thoracic. Okay, so what you need to remember for cat, the two differences are the VCT, and then when you come up here, having that brachiocephalic trunk, and off of brachiocephalic will be the left common carotid, the right subclavian, and then off of that will be right common carotid.
Can you repeat that again? Just
Sure.
that last part.
Yep, so brachiocephalic artery splits. You're going to have right common carotid coming up. Right subclavian is under here, we don't really see it. And then that's going to go up into transverse scapular. Left side goes straight up, left common carotid. Over on the side is left subclavian. So on this right subclavian, we should also see the VTC, but not in this one. Or VCTs. Okay, so back to here for a second. If we just follow heart up, see this was internal mammary. You guys see just these really fine 3 arteries. Probably 1, 2, and then this. It's kind of weird because it branches, but that would be your VCT there, the 3. I doubt they will ask the VCT on this. They'll ask it on the cat because it's more obvious. Okay, one more picture like this. For the neck region, this one always scares people, so I'm going to show you now so you're not scared. If you see it, it'll be a breeze to you. This is a picture of just the neck specifically. So right here would be the windpipe, also called trachea. This is the medial side. You see those C rings of hyaline cartilage like we learned in 250? Okay, and the neck's been peeled back. You can see just the ears right up here. And this huge long pipe in red is an artery. Anybody have a guess what it is? Common carotid, yep. And this is actually the cat's left side, so this is left common carotid. We probably won't ask you that, we'll just say, is that a common carotid? Okay, so here's a couple that you can say.